like I say, um, when you can realistically, like I say, with all my battleships, with all my tanks, with all my aircraft, with aircraft carriers and battleships, I mean, great good and great bad can become of either or. You can use as something in either direction, but to be that person that commanded airdrops of food and to be that person that was able to offer hope and basically to reach down and basically be like to be able to say to my people and beside and another thing is a lot of people, I would hear all the stories about how people would say it felt good to be there. I remember hearing all the stories about how many people said that they were glad despite everything that they were there, in that nightmare to because when they saw what was going on, when they saw the atrocities or the injustices, when they witnessed it firsthand, like because they realized that that there was the possibility that they wouldn't have been there. Like I say, there were a lot of really bad things going on, and if not for me, if not for them, then nobody would have known. Nobody would have cared. But, I had the ships, and they were, and so, and plus all the research, like they would always say during Vietnam that there was no intelligence or whatever, but that's because they weren't really, a part of the group like that. Like, I mean, like all my intelligence was very careful. Like we spent 5 or 10 years, or like 5 years investigating some people just to be that sure. I didn't want there to be any doubt. So, and like I say, this one person pretended to be just a drug dealer, just someone supplying the drugs to people, but he was actually something way worse. It's just that to the public, to everyone else, he just looked like just a drug dealer. And not even that bad a one. But, when you spent 5 or 10 years doing the research and everything else, then you find out about all this other stuff. And then you find out about all his generals or all his different people, and it's like, well, this is that, and then you're like, good, I'm glad we did this. And other people would say that too. And then, like I say, you get those epic moments where it's like men are running on the beach, and then suddenly there's and the fires coming out of the cannons, and you see tanks just disappearing and buildings falling to the ground, just being vaporized by these cannons, and like it's deafening, and like and you can feel the heat, like nobody. You're not supposed to be right next to a battleship when the when the cannons are firing off, and they were like they could look up and they could look over and see the cannons right there, and realized that the flames from the cannon were almost reaching the shore. They're like the ship was so close that the flame from the cannon fire was basically at the hillside practically, and the tank was just a couple 100 feet past. He said if they had been any closer, that tank would have been cooked by the by by the by the by just the discharge gases, and like that kind of rain, like point blank battleship fight, where it's just like the cannons are like, it's not more than a couple 100 feet. I'm sure he was exaggerating a little bit, but still, I mean, I just like they said there was nothing left of some of the tanks, like just like I can't even like I wish someone would it'd be funny to do a simulation of that to see what kind of muzzle velocity that is of like I think it was a 12-inch gun on the cannon, but just like I mean those people shouldn't have been there, I guess. But and they had lines. I think there was a line of Like they filled the whole area, and because they were planning for a normal assault. I don't think they really intended for like someone psychotic like me to be like beach the battleship and get that cannon closer. And then it was like that was a one that was I never did that again. I only did that one time. Like I mean they might have done it in my place a couple times, but and beaching about a battleship became more common. I mean, it leaves you open, but I knew that it could hold its ground pretty well. I mean, the cannon shells went right through the buildings, just like 3 or 4 buildings, and then out the backside. Like they did a full investigation onto the whole thing, and they said the shells were fired from here. They went through the cannon. It was like it hit the tank. It went through the buildings, 3 buildings or so. It went out the backside, practically hit a farm tractor, and then landed miles away. Like there was one shell that actually made it that far, where like it just kept going. But I think they were hardened shells. I'm not exactly sure. I was like, no way, you're lying. No, it couldn't have gone that far. Like I was like, maybe it hit a brick or something, or maybe that was the tank. Like maybe the shell picked up the tank or something, because like it went all the way into the field, way like it was half a mile away, or like couple 100 feet past. It was like on the other side of the pasture, like because there was these buildings and some other stuff, and then some smaller buildings, and then this farm pasture or farm field, and then they were said the shells hit here or debris hit here. I was like, it went 300 or 600 feet, and they're like, yeah. I mean, there's a map. They did a map. They said we found debris here, because there was a whole investigation that lasted months afterwards. Because I wanted to know where the people were when they were shot, how they were shot, who we got, who we didn't get, and everything. So they said, they had a map, and there was like X is here, X is here. That was those people. X is here. We took sustained wounded here. Their people were scattering this way. They did a whole investigation. They had a map of the road and everything. It's like, and then this is the road up, and his house is way up there. And the guns that were firing on the battleships were over here, firing like this, and they did a whole, it's actually like, people should really research that one, because I mean, they should actually lay it out on the thing, because I think we were really sure it was a 5-year investigation, and like I say, and then we sailed, and so we were very positive. I was very positive of that one, because I was a drug dealer, and we did all the work on it, and then like I said, and then afterwards we did an investigation to make sure that we had gotten him and that he was the person. It's like verifiable facts and all that. And like I said, they shelled his house and everything. Anyway, so yeah. Anyway, lots of moments like that there were in my lifetime. Like I said, it was funny because I had spent my whole life like that's one of the reasons why later on I had helped out so many people with grants, because it's like I've spent a long time becoming rich or epic, like millions of years of careful maneuvering and doing this and doing that, and then so I was like, it's really hard to be able to actually affect things. So I was like, let's help out some people. So I helped out a few people, start businesses and stuff like that. Because it's like most people can't build a factory. And that's one of the reasons why in Germany there are these families where I was like,